Good day! Did you know that the Agora Awards is one of the most enduring and respected recognitions in the Philippines marketing industry? For decades, it has celebrated trailblazers whose creativity, strategy, and leadership have shaped the way brands connect with people. But how did it all begin and what makes the awards so influential today? Well, grab your cup of coffee and join us on Freshly Brewed, where compelling conversations brew between fascinating guests and BusinessMirror's journalist hosts. Many marketers may have heard of the Agora Awards, but do you know how it started, how it has evolved through the years, and what categories are now part of this prestigious program? How does the selection process work, and what does it take to be recognized for the marketing excellence? All these and more will be unpacked as Allanigui, Chief Relationship Officer of the United Neon Media Group, and PMA Agora Awards Director joins us to talk about the history, impact, and future of the Agora Awards with our one and only Bless Aubrey Ogerio, BusinessMirror Science Reporter.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Freshly Brewed. I am Bless Ogerio, Science Reporter for BusinessMirror, and your host for today. Every day, what we buy, what we trust, and even what we believe are all influenced by brands. From billboards and social media ads to the stories companies tell, marketing quietly shapes how we see the world around us. But behind the campaigns we remember and the ones we forget are standards of excellence that define what good marketing really is. In the Philippines, one of the longest-running efforts to recognize excellence is the Agora Awards. Joining us today is Ms. Allanigui, Chief Relationship Officer of United Neon Media Group and the Chairperson of the PMA Agora Awards. Good day, Ms. Alpha, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Good day to you too.
Okay.
Maraming salamat for having me here.
Yes, you're very welcome here, ma'am. And before we dive po doon sa awards, let's start with you po. Could you share to us and walk us through your professional journey and how you ended up working at the intersection of media, marketing, and industry leadership?
Okay, so I have a long history of experience. It's a joyful journey. I was in the service industry right after graduation. I was a flight attendant, and I've worked also with not-for-profit organizations and did a bit of consultancy for government. I was also in event management. I have been in broadcast media. I've also worked with retail and couture fashion. And my longest stint, of course, is with United Neon Media Group. So, there.
That's a lot, ma'am. But what eventually led to your involvement in the Agora Awards?
So when I joined United Neon Media Group, we became a member of the Philippine Marketing Association. And being a part of the PMA, for me, would only be maximized if I involve myself in committees. Okay, so in 2014, that started my foray to the Agora. So more or less, it's about over 10 years now that I have been working for the committee of the Agora Awards. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. But first things first po. For someone hearing about it for the first time, what exactly are the Agora Awards? Like, when did it start? What is the sense of it?
Okay. For the marketing professionals and people in business, the Agora is the most coveted awards in the country. Why? Because we boast ourselves of being the beacon of inspiration and hope for the marketing professionals and even the business community. When you think of big brands and brands that are emerging, you would think what made them stick, and you would always associate them with, them fulfilling their promise to their customers, diba? And with the Agora, year on year, and the reason why I have been so involved with it is because it gives me hope and inspiration. You know that most of our Agora awardees are not just marketers professionally, but they have the heart to help the community and really fuel the economy of the Philippines. So the Agora really, for most marketers, is something that we all dream to have.
But given your lots of experience, as what you've mentioned earlier, and based on what you've seen and how it evolved, alongside changes in the Philippine marketing industry, ano po yung mga changes na nakita nyo sa industriya nga po ng marketing?
Okay. The basics of marketing will always be there, no? You would call it the 4 Ps. Over time, it has changed to, of course, yung dating place can now be everywhere because you can be online.
Yes.
Diba? So, there are changes now given the mix of media and marketing. What else have I seen? The vanguards are still there. The ways of doing have changed a bit.
Can you be more specific regarding the vanguards that you told?
The vanguards would be the old guards, our gurus in marketing.
Yes.
No? Those whom we look up to. There's always an intersection of creativity, strong sense of business, and now there's a highlight and the amplification of the use of data so that we have a more thorough plan for strategy. So I think with the advent of technology, the marketing landscape is now fueled, no? All the more to be data-driven. But apart from that, we would always look at what is the purpose, say for example, of a brand, and what is the promise that you want to give to your customers, and how do you actually translate that into communication, and how do you translate that in so that people or your customers would actually patronize your product. In essence, pareho pa rin yung fundamentals ng marketing.
Yes, that's
The
clear,
addition of technology is fueling us to be more efficient and to use data to make it into actionable techniques or strategies or even tactics. No?
But at its core, ma'am, what sets Agora Awards apart from other award-giving bodies?
Okay, the Agora is on its 44th season already.
Wow. Happy 44 years, ma'am.
44 years. I think more because we had some gaps during the pandemic.
Yes.
But you're saying what is the difference? It is really looked up to not just here in the Philippines, but it has become the benchmark of our ASEAN neighbors. In fact, I would like to quote one of the past presidents of the Asian Marketing Federation, Mr. Tokyo Goto, saying that the Agora Awards is actually the benchmark of the Asian Marketing Federation Awards.
Now, Miss Alpha, I'd like to dive more deep into the specifics of the awards. I would like to know how many categories are there and what are the aspects of marketing do these categories cover po?
For the Agora this year, we have 16 categories. It's divided into 2 major segments. One would be individual awards, or we call them the luminaries, and then the second would be enterprise, which would represent the organizations or the companies. So for individuals, we're looking at educators, we're looking at marketing management, we're also looking at entrepreneurs. So there, no, and then we're also looking for companies. Of course, we have marketing company, no, and then we have introduced last year social enterprise. We have advocacy marketing, and a whole lot of others. But I think when you really look at this, you look at 3 major recipients, no. So you look at the entrepreneurs, meaning you look at the marketing managements, the professionals inside big corporations. And then you have the educators, because the educators are the one who's actually building us up in terms of development, no, of the whole marketing landscape, starting from the youth. And now we also have the entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs, more, some would say, oh, I don't know anything about marketing, but entrepreneurs really have a marketing mindset. Why? Because it's as easy, or maybe I'm just deducing this and making it simple, but really entrepreneurs would always say, what problem can I solve for a customer? So entrepreneurs would always think of customers, kasi that's where the lifeblood comes in.
Actually.
Diba?
About the social enterprise category, what prompted you guys to finally create that kind of segment in the Agora Awards?
Okay, for the social enterprise, we have been talking about this as early as 2014. But I think at that time, it was still a bit too early. So instead of social enterprise, what we introduced was marketing communications.
All right.
Last year, I think it was so ripe for us to introduce social enterprise, given that it was amplified during the pandemic. A lot of people want to help other people, and social enterprise is about helping the community. It's really about others first, and then that's when you're there as sort of like a consolidator of things, and you fuel the whole community. So social enterprise is something that we're proud of this year.
All right. Now, ma'am, on the other hand, we know that awards only matter if the standards are solid. So how are nominees evaluated across different categories, and what does excellence mean in very practical terms in the Agora Awards?
So, let me go through the process, okay? In Agora, you have to be nominated. You can nominate yourself if you want, or have somebody nominate you. And then right after that, we would request for documents and a presentation. And then we have our category search heads who would get in touch with, say, for example, you're a nominee. We'll get in touch with you. We'll go through your documents and all the other requirements that's needed. So that's just you preparing for the nomination. After that, the category search head will screen through it and then pass it on to a screening council. So the screening council is the first or the initial phase of judging. The screening council is composed of past presidents of the Philippine Marketing Association. And then they would have, of course, a repartee with the search head and say, oh, ito kulang pa. I don't think this nominee fits the category. Maybe you'd like to transfer this nominee to another category.
So may batuhan ng opinion.
So may batuhan ng opinion, and there's also parang not all nominees are actually qualified.
Yes.
So there's pre-qualification. So that's the role now. That's the role of the search
Much
head.
better para mas masala po.
Mas masala siya. So from the screening council, when this is okay now, we now proceed to the judging. So this year, we have allowed now the nominees to present their case, why they deserve an Agora. In the previous years, it will always be the search category heads presenting before the judges. We figured we might as well have them present themselves. Because, seriously, the work of the search head is very, very critical. Because I was a search head, once upon a time.
How was the experience, ma'am?
Oh, it's really, really tough. But it's really, I must say, it's so helpful in terms of, it's like a master's. It's like taking a practical master's because you're actually learning from the companies themselves. No, we have to prepare the deck. We have to make sure that we keep an objective mind because we want all our nominees to win. So not an inch or not an iota of compelling reason for them na dapat ma-miss. Dapat yon lahat na present yung case. So now, dahil there are question and answers during the judging, we figured, and the judges from the past were also saying, might as well have the nominees themselves present it.
Yes.
But so now, ang nangyayari, our search heads would now serve as consultants for the nominees. So we'll say, oh, may kulang pa po ba? Could you add this case? So it's really more of a consultancy now. And then for the judging, the judges are all past Agora awardees. And when you're an Agora awardee, they take pride in it because not everyone can win an Agora. Bragging aside, there are a couple of winners. One winner have actually entered and tried 7 times before they got an Agora. So it's not a kind of award that you just get anywhere. It's an industry, and it's judged by Agora winners themselves. Some of them are past presidents who are also Agora awardees. So this year, that's what I did. No, for our judges, we have Agora awardees who are really, really sharp, but considerate when they ask the nominees.
You guys have built that credibility over the years. So receiving such award, I think, is really precious when you're in the marketing industry. But over the years, ma'am, speaking of that, how would you describe the caliber of winners? How has the bar changed? Has the industry evolved?
Okay. In the past, when you think of marketing, you think of strategy. You also think of revenue contribution. That's always somewhat important. But I think over time, for this year, we have 4 pillars already, no, in terms of judging. One is strategy. The next is implementation or execution, which takes a big chunk in terms of the rating and the weight for the award. And then there's impact and result, and then Filipino influence and purpose. In terms of the caliber of nominees, you know, it's a joy to actually see emerging companies joining the Agora Awards. We're seeing that there's a lot of enthusiasm to win an award, and most of the top corporations and top honchos in marketing have had an Agora. But we're discovering that there's a whole lot more of people and companies who deserve to have an Agora. But of course, we have to keep the standard of it being an excellent, in terms of excellence, no?
So when you said, ma'am, when you mentioned the top companies, it just goes to show how really well-respected is the organization. But looking ahead po, when is the next Agora Awards scheduled, and what can the industry expect this year?
Okay. So, what I did not tell you is that we may have a lot of categories, but not all categories may have winners.
Oh, okay.
And that's
how does that work, ma'am?
Stringent and strict our judges are.
Oh, man.
So, this year we'll be having the Agora Awards on January 14 at the Winford Hotel. And, we are excited because you will see that new faces and companies that we have discovered. I mean, not just in Metro Manila, so this is a nationwide. So we'll have winners from the other regions,
So
not
everyone,
just Metro Manila. Yeah.
Everyone is given a chance regardless of kung nasaan man
Geography,
sila.
yeah. Oo naman. And that's what we need nga eh. We need to discover and highlight companies and individuals from our provinces and not just in Metro Manila. But of course, Metro Manila is still the hub of business. But there's just so many people and so many great companies out there. And I just want them to realize that the Agora is not just an award, not just any award. It is an award that represents integrity, credibility, excellence, and not everyone can have an Agora. Once you have an Agora, it's like having a crown.
Yes, ma'am,
Really.
agree on that. And speaking of geography, I think it will be helpful din po sa inyo no, na people from Agora to discover those other companies from other regions para ma-discover din po kung ano yung niche
Yes,
ng kanilang
yes.
province, right?
Yes.
Yes po. And before we wrap up naman, I'd like to know if there's one message you'd want marketers and students or even consumers to take away about marketing today. Like, what would it be?
Oh, that's a difficult question.
Any takeaway, ma'am?
It's difficult to just sum it up in one word, but I'd like to probably put it in an acronym. Always know the purpose of why you're doing what you're doing in terms of marketing. And then excellence, and execution is really, really important. You may have a great strategy, but if you don't implement it well, then it will just remain as a strategy. It's something that we are still all learning, and we are still, trying to make things better and easier, and work smarter when it comes to executing strategies that works well and will do well for others. The other one would be the use of technology. Use it with the proper perspective. There's a lot of AI supposed to help us in terms of efficiency. But in marketing, there are nuances. Nuances that AI cannot. I don't know, can it pick up in terms of yung languages kaya but may mga nuancing na hindi kayang i-pick up ng technology. So use it accordingly. And then I think the other one would be, we have to be responsible. Whatever message we send out there is something that the public will embrace. The power of marketing is boundless. We can shape minds, we can mold culture, we can develop movements, we can create action after action. But if we don't take it responsibly, where will marketing be? It will just, I don't know. But I think marketing is very powerful. It can change lives. It brings business to companies, but it can also touch people. So marketing is really about putting yourself in the shoes of other people, putting on the shoes of your customers, and making sure that it will benefit them, benefit the company, and benefit the country.
Very great insights, ma'am, on how marketing should not just be excellent but responsible at the same time. And you guys should take it by heart, all those words of wisdom. Now, Miss Alpha, thank you so much for helping us understand why
Thank you.
marketing excellence and recognizing it matter beyond trophies.
Thank you very much, Bless. You have a good day.
Yes,
God
ma'am.
bless you.
And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in to Freshly Brewed. If you found this conversation insightful, don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media, and catch our next episode. I'm Bless Ogerio, and see you next time.
And that wraps up today's episode of Freshly Brewed. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have gained valuable insight into the legacy of the Agora Awards and the role it plays in shaping marketing excellence in the Philippines. Stay informed, stay inspired, and make smarter choices every day with Business Mirror. For the latest stories and updates, visit businessmirror.com.ph for a broader look at today's business landscape. and follow us on our social media channels. Stay ahead, no more, and see you next time.